Hello everybody, welcome to another Arkham Horror list video. Today we're going to be talking about our top 3 player card archetypes. First things first, guess what all of our number 1s are? I'm pretty sure people would. Also as well, next week for our list video, we're going to be doing something a bit different. We're going to be doing kind of like a best of our Arkham Horror 5 years of Arkham Horror, essentially. However long the game's been out, I don't even know if it's been 5 years. I think it is.
It's been like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a chunk of time.
Yeah, like best of moments.
We want to make a best of moments for that, and we're going to kind of like watch and like talk about the stuff, and I'm going to make a little clip show for it. We're not going to go too crazy, but I'm going to like choose like, if there's something that pops up a lot, I'll look for it. If anyone, even if they recommend something they've recently watched, if you know what video it was, please point me towards that video. It'll make it a hell of a lot easier, because we got
Please God.
we got a lot of Arkham content I got to dig through. But yeah, so please let us know in the comments if you have any ideas for that. We would love to have your guys' input in it as well. We have a big list of our own stuff that I'm going to be digging to, but please keep it coming. Anyway, let's talk about our top 3 player card archetypes. I'm excited for this video. It's going to be a good time. Let's start with number 3 for Bryn. What's your number 3?
That succeed by X or more. This represents a set of cards, mostly green, that ask you to beat your test by more than was necessary in exchange for an extra payoff. They're a lot of fun. They don't work for me. That's okay.
Yeah, you're too busy. You're like, all right, I have to succeed by 2 or more. Red shit, let's go.
Fail by 5.
Yeah, this archetype is Bryn's like the little kid who's looking in through the window on the street on a cold Christmas Eve at the gift he can't afford.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure. My number 3 is the research mechanic. I just really like it. I was going to call this like searching my deck, right? Because I've done this with both Mandy and Daisy, and it's been a good time. But the 2 things that those 2 decks had in common were the fact that I loaded it with Astounding Revelation and Surprising Find. And it just made, it's such a fun kind of like reward mechanic for doing something you're already doing and something that's already powerful. So it just kind of like feeds that power over and over and over again. It's why I would love one more, I would love to do one more research mechanic, but also at the same time I understand why it's like a limited design space. So an upgraded in the Return to Dream Eaters. Travis is right, there's probably going to be something there that's a little bit spicy. I just really liked all of it, and it's fun. It's not my number 2 because there's something I like doing a little bit more, but I've played it more commonly than my number 2 for these archetypes.
You know, Justin, the more that we play this game and do these videos, the more I see you talking positive things about yellow cards and playing more yellow decks.
Well, I mean, from the beginning, yellow and red are my 2 most played colors, right? Like, if I haven't been the support, I'm usually the clue getter. I very rarely play combat in the game. I like it's usually you or Bryn that do combat, and I'm a-okay with that. I like getting the clues or helping where I can.
It's usually Bryn who does combat, I think, actually.
Yeah.
I think I've only played like Zoe once and then Mark the other times.
Yeah, yeah. Most of your combat's been Mark.
But anyway. For my number 3, I got the Untranslated Cycle. So this encompasses like the Dream Diary, Strange Solution, Ancient Stone, all that stuff. In particular, Shrewd Analysis, which I really like, as a lot of those cards have like an obvious upgrade and an obvious niche in a deck that's like the good one, but it costs a lot. Like, so there's one Ancient Stone that's like when you draw cards, you get to deal damage to stuff at your location. And then there's another one that gets you, I'm pretty sure it's another one that gets you extra clues. It gives you Rex's ability. I think it's the Ancient Stone. But, oh no, that's the Kirkos one I'm thinking of. Anyway, there's one obviously good one. And Shrewd Analysis in particular makes it so that way you just get to spin the wheel. And for all the consistency that yellow offers, sometimes you just want to play a yellow deck. And you want to have an excuse to get a little wild and not do the same boring thing every time. And Shrewd Analysis is perfect for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you're saying. You get such a nice value out of it, but it's now random. So what would be a choice that's very straightforward? You're just like, I'll take double the value, but without the control of choosing what I want. And if you hit what you want, that's great, and you also get a bonus out of it.
Yeah, like I'm a kind of competitive player in the sense that like I feel kind of bad if I'm not. It feels bad to me to play cards that are strictly worse than what I could be playing just because if I don't have a good reason for it. But paying half experience is like just the right amount of power level to make me be like, yeah, this is worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Let's go to our number 2s. Bryn, what is your number 2?
We've got Money Matters, which is another green archetype, or at least mostly green, where your cards reward you for having unspent resources in your resource pool. In most cases by giving you bonuses to skill tests that you're trying to perform now. I like this one a lot. You just get to sort of sit there and feel like a dragon for a bit. Your teammates are like, why aren't you playing the game? And you're like, shut up, emergency cash. I'm playing.
Almost in most cases, the RNG can't take your resources away from you.
Yeah.
This is like mostly true. Although the one time that I've really played this, I got a random madness weakness, and it did take all my resources away from me. So...
I mean, that's classic Bryn, you know?
It's just the way it goes, you know?
That's the curse of Bryn with Arkham Horror. My number 2 is Chaos Token Manipulation. I've really enjoyed Olive McBride since she was spoiled. And my recent experiences with her and Jim Culver, I'm not going to blame her. I'm going to blame Jim. But I like the idea of... So, like, it's kind of obvious to the people who watch this show and, like, these series that I like the cards that give you value for very little effort or, like, commitment, even if that value is smaller than something you get out of, like, for example, a Well-Connected, right? So, like, even if I just get +1 on a test for just playing the game, it draws me to it. So being able to just like have a card like Olive McBride out and then like just have it so that she just gives me a bit more control over it at a little bit of a risk, but then ultimately like maybe it's not too bad. It kind of draws me to it. It's the same way I'm very excited to play Jacqueline Fine because it's written on her card, right? And like that's like the lowest commitment you can get to achieving. It's why I'm like, apart from the fact that why Rex is so strong, why I'm so high on Rex Murphy being so powerful still, and why I've been shouting this from the rooftops in a lot of videos, is because he has a deduction printed on his card. That's literally the lowest, there's nothing you need to do to get that value each turn, and that's kind of like what I like. And Chaos Token Manipulation usually asks for very little from you to get the advantage that you want out of it. This also then will go into my number 1, which when we get to there.
Yeah, like Chaos Token Manipulation is like very good in terms of playing the game, where it's just good when you play the game.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to play cards that care about the tokens you draw for it to be good. Like just passing tests is good.
Yes, yeah. That's my philosophy. I just want to pass the test with as little commitment as possible.
Well, talking about my philosophy, I like dicking on the game and making it feel powerless. That's why we've got canceling effects here for my number 2. Which card I've chosen is War Protection level 2, strictly because it is probably like actually the most played card in my collection. Just we've played the hell out of this card since it came out. I still play it a lot of opportunities. But it's not just this one. War Protection level 1, War Protection level 5, which I haven't really played too much. I got to play it once, but and then cards like Forewarn, Test of Will, or Deny Existence, especially Deny Existence level 5. It just feels so good when the game's like, I'm going to do something bad to you, and you're like, absolutely not good.
No.
Like, just sitting there, and you're like, so many turns come down, you're like, we're going to do this, and it's going to be good, and then every once in a while, like, the game will just feed you an Ancient Evils or whatever, and you're like, guess the agenda advances, that's bad. But, like, when you play Border Protection for Warren, you're just like,
yeah,
not there. It's like a weighted blanket.
And when you
feel so cozy and so secure with it.
And when we were compiling these images for this, Bryn brought up an excellent point that Travis has never played Diana, so that should be a fun time for him.
I do believe that I will enjoy that, which is weird. Like I remember considering her for our first Circle Undone run, but I decided against it for. Who did I play?
Who did you? Who was the yellow investigator from that cycle?
You played Rita. Bryn played Preston.
Yeah, you might have been Joe Diamond.
Joe Diamond. That's it.
Yeah, you were Joe Diamond.
Yeah, because
that's fair. I picked the yellow one. That checks out.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, let's get to our number ones. Bryn, actually, 1 second again, as I always like to do. Everyone, take a moment. Let us know if you guessed our top 3 correctly.
Yeah.
Because
type in the comments. Type what you think our number ones are.
Yeah, what our number ones are, and then in addition, also what cards you think represent them. Because we are easy on this channel. We are what we are.
And like the video, subscribe to the channel.
Yes. Number 1, Bryn.
Yeah, that's right. I picked for my player card archetypes events, like literally about a third of the cards in the game. No, it's actually the cards that make your events matter more than they normally would, such as the Crystallizer Dream, or double or what have you. I like to play Safina. I like playing events. These cards make your events better.
It's kind of like what I was
also,
oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, this wouldn't be a video about one of my opinions if Mark Harrigan or the Crystallizer of Dreams were not in it.
That's true. And it's kind of like what I was just saying. How like I want to do as little as possible to get what I want. Bryn wants to get as much value out of what he does have, right? So like
yeah. Why would I want +1 to my skill when I could get +12?
Plus, and then draw the red shit anyway.
Yeah, and then you draw the red token for your hubris, and yeah.
I feel like
it's just life.
In my mind, the game punishes you less when you're not trying to flex on it as much. So I just go, look at me, I have no resources. Don't worry about me. So mine is no resources. And this kind of also goes with skills matter. So kind of like how Bryn used an entire third of the card type. I also, skills is kind of in this no resources, but it kind of all comes around Dark Horse. It's the same kind of philosophy. When I'm looking at a deck, especially in red, which I play the most because it's my color of the group, I look at my stats and say, okay, so what are these with Dark Horse? And this is the only thing I'm doing for the rest of the game. Like, I'm not doing anything else. I'm just going to get skills that bump this up. That's why I fell in love with Silas so quickly, because his skills came back to him if I passed. So like that's like the ultimate non-commitment for me. It's just great. I am excited to try other archetypes, like the On Your Own and all that stuff, to go like events matter like Bryn. But otherwise, no resources is like the way I like to play the game. I like to have nothing. If I have nothing, I'm winning. Travis?
So before we get into mine, I just wanted to point out that for our number ones, Justin, you picked like the payoff, the big one for your archetype that like it's practically named after. If you said you like Dark Horse archetype, people would know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas Bryn and I picked these shitty name cards to represent ours.
Yeah. Well, that's because I'm in red. We really only have like one card that's like good. It's not lucky.
I know. That's not true. Red's got anyway. I picked hand size. I like having lots of cards in my hands. I like having 100 cards, like in Justin's Dream.
Yeah.
And that's why I picked the Dream Enhancing Serum, because you get to have a lot of cards, but still only have like 8 or whatever. Like I don't even like hand size in the context of like playing Mandy and abusing and cycling through to find your pendant, the queen, or 3 aces every turn. I just like having a lot of cards in my hand.
Yeah, it keeps them safe.
It's like 80% a tactile thing, actually.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's the tactile feedback.
Yeah, I just like having a big pile of cards in my hand and a little pile on the table, and they're like, "Why are you going through your deck?" And I'm like, "I'm not. This is my hand."
Yeah.
No,
Or
it's
try
just
and draw two cards.
I like
And, yeah, takes a week because you got to figure out how many you got in your hand and whether you've got copies of those cards in your hand.
I mean, and it's also kind of like you like making the most optimal decision. So also the most things you have to help you make that decision, right? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, no, like that's also a big part of it for me is like I like the organizational aspect of it as well, being able to flip through my like literal 14, 15 cards in my hand. And if you watch some of our videos, especially with our Dream Years playthrough where I played Mandy, you can see me like sorting through my cards in between turns and like kind of sectioning them off into, I mean, you can't see the cards in my hand, but you can see me sorting them into like, this section is expendable cards. This section is like cards I intend to play in the near future. This section is cards that are here to keep my hand size up or throw away if the game requires that. This section is like situational cards, if like, and then like the situational cards are like in a specific order where like, for example, I might have ward or protection at the front because I'm more likely to use that. Whereas I might have a card like look what I found further back than that because it's only going to be necessary if I'm planning to use it, you know?
That does make it easier,
yeah,
and
like,
especially like I think when Travis saw me play Dream Enhancing Serum and I shuffled my hand because I don't care about organization, he was probably like, "What is this guy doing?"
It's also just like a consideration thing. I don't want you to... Hey, Travis, it's your turn. Okay, let me sit here and shuffle through the 17 cards in my hand to figure out what I'm going to do this turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this Drondo Flame, but let me just like find it first, you know?
Here it is. Oh, wait, no, that's something else. Let's go.
Shuffle your hand, just start flipping cards over until you find the one you want.
Yeah. Now, this makes me question, too, like, if I had to, like, if there was a Dark Horse that could be played with a card that when you didn't have cards in your hand, would I play that card, Pete Sylvester, Dark Horse, and then just skills? Probably.
Would you play that in in Patrice with just skills?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Anyways, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to be back next week for that best of video. So once again, if you have anything, moments you've liked in our playthroughs or even our list videos, let us. Probably the Amanda Sharp is probably going to be in there as well. But
I know.
That'll probably be. Luckily, that one's easy to find. It's the gameplay that I'm most daunted with. But anything's good. If there's anything you remember, especially if you remember where it's from, let us know in the comments below. And as always, if you're new to the channel, why don't you click that subscribe button? And if you want to be notified when our videos go live, hit that bell. We release 2 videos a day, sometimes 3, depending on the day. With Arkham video content coming out usually 4 times a week. So if you like Arkham Horror, it's still coming. We also play a good chunk of the other living card games from Fantasy Flight, including there's a solo Marvel Champions series released on Thursdays, and starting on this Monday coming up, Bryn and I are going to be starting our Lord of the Ring progression quest, where we play through the entire game with the cards that just came out. And that were only available when that pack came out. We won't be doing that with Arkham Horror the card game because we've already done it, baby.
Yeah, we did it. We did it one time the first time.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one.